right, it is 7:17, an accident. Northbound 99 at Mack Road. And a bit of a slowdown now. Westbound 80, the Yellow Causeway. Time for a call now. Here is, wait, a baritone sax solo. Now, it's time for a call from Dan in Sonoma.
I would never dare trip over the baritone sax, segment. So yeah,
it's awesome. I mean, who uses baritone sax anymore? It's a great instrument.
It is. You have, again, such great music on this show. By the way, I always love your intro music when you first started at the top of the hour, 6 o'clock. That's just a cool, subtle, nice little way to begin the morning.
I love that piece. That is Santana.
That is very cool. I wouldn't have known that was Santana, by the way.
Early Santana. In fact, that used to be the closing theme of a local radio show in this market. A local radio show years and years ago, back in the 70s.
Well, you're going to become famous for this. Just mark my words. Mark my words.
I'm told that you can't be famous in your hometown, though. So
I guess
I'm not going to hold my breath. But thank you.
I can't hold my breath very long anyway, so I don't do that. Hey, by the way, speaking of holding breath, congratulations to the Texas Rangers. You can now exhale. You finally won your first World Series. I had nothing against Arizona, but I wanted the Rangers to win simply because they'd never done it.
So has everyone won one now?
No. Padres have not won.
Oh, that's
and
right.
I think there's a few others. Seattle has never won.
Oh, that's right. Seattle, yeah.
And Colorado's never won.
The rookies have never won.
No, never won. I think there's a few more, but I hadn't. I'd have to ponder that. But hey, it was on this day 7 years ago that my Cubs won for the first time in 108 years. Changed my whole life. And now, if they, I can die a happy man, which it may be sooner than later the way things are going.
We used to say that the world was going to end if the Cubs ever won it all. And you know what? Things are going downhill fast since then.
I blame myself. I blame the Cubs for this. So I
don't think you should shoulder all the responsibility, Dan.
Well, the prophecy is coming true, though, isn't it?
I'm going to give you grace.
Appreciate it. Let's talk about war. Watching what a quick rapid segment, what a quick turning on a dime on that one.
Talk about whiplash.
Watching the Israelis engage in battle, this is how you wage a war. If the decision is made to declare war, and there's certainly 100% justification in this particular case for what happened to them and the absolute horror. It wasn't just Hamas killing people, it's the way they killed people. It was brutal. It was personal. It was just the most horrific thing you could possibly do. But they're going into battle, the Israelis, they're not tiptoeing into this battle. You get in there, you kick ass, and you come home. That's what you do. You don't walk on eggshells. You don't do what was done back in Afghanistan with Bush when he did, you needed a response after September 11th. I get that. But he started out strong and then started to backtrack as he felt pressure from the UN and others of all the... You remember the media was part of that. There was a death count every day. How many people died? How many soldiers died? It was all Bush's fault. And the same thing happened in Iraq. But the problem was they were never focused on winning. They never described what victory was. And there was too much focus on limiting civilian casualties, a word I've never cared for, by the way. There's nothing casual about people dying. But when you go into war, the sad reality is there are going to be people that die that shouldn't. But that's why you get in there rapidly. You kick ass and you come home. If you do the opposite, if you linger the way, again, Bush did with those two other wars, Afghanistan took the better part of 20 years. And in the end, it failed. Thousands of soldiers died for no reason because the mission was not completed, and now we will have to start all over again. So that's my take on Israel to this point. Now, here's the thing: Israel at this point, it's early in this war. They're winning because they know what to do, and they're doing this the right way. The closer they get to victory, the louder the cries for ceasefire will happen with the UN and all the sellouts here in the States, including Biden. I'm even thinking that if they get close to victory, the U.S. will put pressure on Israel to stop just before victory. They might even use, our military to stand in the way or even go against the Israelis. And again, I put nothing past Joe Biden and this left to stop Israel at any cost. They don't want them to win. That's the bottom line. They don't want Israel to win.
We're being run by anti-American people, which, chances are, they're also anti-Israeli.
They're Jew haters and racist.
If we should be really concerned, if we get hit, who's going to fight?
You can't even fight in Congress. That censorship for Rashid Tlaib that was voted down thanks to 23 Republicans, including our own Tom McClintock, who voted that down. If I'm going to call his office and say, Tom, congratulations, you support Hamas, you support all the horror that happened over there. You couldn't even lift your finger to censure. I mean, censure is a slap on the wrist for Tlaib. That's the least that should have happened, and he couldn't even do that. It's time for him to retire.
Well, Dan, speaking of retiring, I'm out of time here. I'm retiring from this call because I have no more time. But
we'll try again tomorrow.
I just figured since you liked Santana, I'd go out with Santana this time.
I like it. Very classy, very classy.
You take care, sir.
Thanks, bud.
We'll talk again. It is 24 after 7.